Well, Trump might be out, but Triumph is still very much in. Hello and welcome. I'm Michael Mann for Bennetts BikeSocial, and I'm here at Triumph UK's headquarters. Why? Well, I'm here to get all the details about the 2021 Triumph Speed Triple 1200 RS. Coming right up, we're going to get all the details from Chief Engineer Stuart Wood. We might even get to hear it as well, this glorious new triple. You can watch this on YouTube on a video, or you can hear it as a podcast in our new Talking Heads series. All right, stick with us. Stuart, thank you so much for inviting us down here to have a look, to touch, to feel, to sit on, maybe even to hear, you never know.
Yep.
But no, it's great to be here. It's great to see it in all the details, so thank you first of all for that. But the Speed Triple, it's got quite a family tree, hasn't it? I think 94 was the first one, so it's like 27 odd years of growth. But does this generation, has it got kind of design or is it influenced by the original in any way?
Well, this is such a long history, and it's been such a well-received bike that it does have influence on this bike, of course. We wanted to make sure the bike was appealing to our existing Speed Triple customers and taking it further for others who may not have considered Speed Triple before. But you can go all the way back to 94. We've got a very strong bloodline, first factory street fighter. Really well received, always exciting, always a little bit edgy, always about torque, response and character. So always a fun bike to ride, fabulous, and yeah, just puts a smile on your face.
It's always very iconic with its look, specifically I think from the second generation onwards, from about 97. But I guess you've clearly kept some of those design features, except for those the twin underseat exhausts have gone down. We've got the single-sided sort of low slung version, which I guess makes this the 2021 version a bit more easy to spot.
Okay, well, it's an evolution, obviously. It's not the same bike. It's a completely brand new bike. Every component is new, engine and chassis. So part of the evolution is the way the bike looks, and part is the way it performs. So we've focused on giving the bike more agility, more precision, much easier to ride, but a lot more performance. And one of the things that will give that is to focus on mass centralisation. And part of that is bringing the exhaust system to the centre of the bike.
And that's Euro 5 related as well, perhaps?
Not specifically. No, Euro 5 we can deal with many exhaust configurations. It is about the performance and the handling.
Okay. I guess one of the headline figures for this new model is power to weight, right? So you've reduced weight by a significant amount and also increased power while you're at it. Do you want to talk through the details around that?
Okay, well that's huge. 10 kilogram mass reduction for the whole bike. Power to weight ratio improvement of 26%.
Over the last generation.
Absolutely, just over the last generation. And that was the highest performance Speed Triple to date. So we've got 180 PS, which is phenomenal performance, but retaining all that torque and response. Okay, so we keep all the character of the engine. We've reduced the mass, wet weight is now 198 kilograms, and that gives you far more performance, but all manageable. Okay, it's an easy bike to ride, even though it's got all that performance. You can ride it on the torque, or you can use all the power.
So 180 PS is about 177 brake horsepower, isn't it?
That's right.
And does it make it right at the top? Peak power is just over 10,000, I think.
Yeah, 10,750 RPM. So it's slightly up on the previous generation, that speed, but it is absolutely glorious. You get even more of that that triple sort of howl at the top end.
And of course, it's going to want to it's going to want to be revved, isn't it? It's going to be, you want to, as a rider, you want to hear it. You want to get all the way up to 10,000.
No, absolutely. It's the character of the bike runs all the way through. I said we've added so much more performance to the bike, and yeah, absolutely fantastic.
And torque's up as well, so that helps with that boost. The way that 3 cylinders will get all the way through that torque range, won't it, with performance?
Yeah, absolutely. The torque is up by 8 Newton meters, so we're 125 Newton meters now. But the peak torque of the previous model was slightly lower down the rev range. but this bike is making more torque than that at that point.
I see.
So although we've actually increased the RPM at the peak torque position, it's producing more torque now than the previous generation all the way through the rev range.
Let's just touch on the engine, shall we, Stuart? It's a whole new engine, as you've already said, and there must have been a lot of weight loss there. Has it changed in terms of dynamics and dimensions?
Yeah, absolutely. The engine's actually a large capacity. We're 1160cc now, so it's a 10% increase in capacity. But we've kept the overall package slightly smaller in every dimension and a lot shorter front to rear, which has helped us with our mass centralisation and packaging. The engine has been reduced in mass by 7 kilograms. So although we've got the extra capacity, all the extra performance, we've got a 20% power increase with the engine. So we've managed to keep it smaller, lighter, and lower inertia as well. So we've reduced the inertia of the crankshaft to make it even more responsive.
That's impressive. I mean, from your department's perspective, you must have slept well when that got signed off.
It's all about detail.
Yeah.
Okay, the guys are absolutely fantastic. We've got a very, very strong team here. The team here is not just designing our road bikes, but they design our race engines as well.
Right.
So the Moto 2 race engine is designed by the same team. So unlike some companies that might have
A race department.
our guys are learning all the time. So, and what we learn on the race engine goes into the road bikes and vice versa, for obviously the durability you've seen with the Moto 2 engine.
Yeah, interesting. And does the dimension with the engine affect the gearbox too?
Yes, the gearbox is stacked. As I say, the whole engine is shorter. We're running a longer swinging arm to allow for that. We've got the same wheelbase as previously.
I see, yeah.
It's very nice, it suits the bike completely. Brand new gearbox. Every engine component's new. So it's a brand new gearbox, different gear ratios, taller first three ratios, but a longer top gear ratio overall because we've got more performance.
And quick shift comes as standard up and down?
Absolutely, and that's a new system, even more refined than previously. We've got a new shift sensor that allows us to map even wider variety of parameters to give the optimum shift up or down.
So with the new gearbox, Stuart, do they affect, or is the centre position thing affected by the rider modes? Are they associated?
No, it doesn't need to be tuned in that way. The optimum shift is achieved whatever the throttle opening, whatever gear you're in, whether you're upshifting or downshifting. So it's sensing the gear pedal pressure, the selector drum position. So we've got two sensors in there, and we've got algorithms that give you the optimum shift regardless of mode.
Right. Now you talk about mass centralisation, you talked about the way in which the dimensions of the engine and the gearbox are slightly different now. Does that mean that the overall sort of centre of gravity, or where the weight is carried on the bike, is different to where it has been before? Yeah,
this is all about optimising the handling of the bike.
Right.
We've tuned every aspect, so the geometry, the ergonomics, the mass distribution. So the mass is slightly further forward and lower. The way the bike performs with the extra power and the extra torque, we've got a slightly higher swing arm position, pivot position, to give slightly more anti-squat to help the suspension, keep the poise and the geometry we want for drive out of corners. Everything is linked. That in itself has allowed us, and the mass reduction, to slightly soften the springs. You're not just looking for control and performance on a track, you're very much looking for comfort and control on the road.
But that said, it still will be pretty handy on the track. I'm sure it'll be very athletic there too.
No, absolutely.
So in terms of performance, Stuart, that must be impressive. Have you got any stats to kind of back that up?
Probably the best one to consider with this is the acceleration. Yeah. So if you imagine we've got 30 horsepower more, 8 newton meters more, a much lighter bike, 10 kilograms lighter bike. If you take your 0 to 100 time, you're a second quicker than the previous speed triple. If you take 0 to 140, you're 3.8 seconds quicker. And 0 to 140 is only 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a fun bike to ride.
I cannot wait to get on it. All right, let's talk about the electronics then, because they must have changed. In terms of handlebar layout, I'm seeing the same sort of familiar switch cubes as we have on previous bikes or current generation Triumphs, let's say. But in terms of electronics, how do they differ? Where are the headlines?
Absolutely. Well, we've got all the functionality that you'd hope for from a bike like this. We've got riding modes. You can select preset riding modes, or you can adjust those riding modes. You're adjusting your throttle maps, you're adjusting your traction control, you're even adjusting your ABS. We've got a track mode on ABS. Okay, so that's really unobtrusive for track use and a very, very nicely tuned system.
I've seen that the marketing video where the guy's backing it in. I assume that's what you were talking about.
Absolutely. It's all homologated and it's all road legal, but it's track focused.
Right. So rider modes, the same: rain, road, sport, track.
Yeah,
road.
Track and a rider configurable mode as well. So you can adjust and take a combination of your preferences.
Sure.
You've got Bluetooth connectivity. Okay, and that's all as fitted as standard to the Speed Triple.
That's with the My Triumph app, right?
Absolutely, it's a free app.
Yeah.
You just download the app and you can access that. That gives you turn-by-turn navigation. It gives you your GoPro connectivity, which is really useful. I mean, you're literally just using your joystick on the switch cube to control your GoPro and your phone and music connection, obviously.
Nice and easy. And the riding position, has that changed?
It has. We've tried to make the bike even more comfortable for the road. It's a really commanding riding position. Seat height is very slightly higher, but you wouldn't know because we've packaged the bike to be narrower.
Right.
So the actual standover is lower, is easier to get to the ground. It gives you slightly more legroom. The seat is longer, so it gives you more space to move around and to get down over the tank if you're at a track.
The seat looks like it's raised at the back. It's so it's swooped down. That's the idea.
Yeah, it gives you an ideal riding position if you do want to get down over the tank.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what it's about. The handlebars are slightly wider, 13 millimetres wider overall.
Okay.
And the foot pegs are narrower as well, to allow them to be slightly lower without affecting ground clearance.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, if you've got more athleticism with the chassis, more power, you're going to want to be a bit more aggressive if you're on the track.
But also more comfortable. This bike has been focused for the road, but with real track performance.
What about the other components? So I noticed on the press sheet, Öhlins, all the the big high-end components that you wish for on a bike like this. Your Öhlins, Brembos. Is the suspension the same setup?
Well, we've got Öhlins suspension front and rear, very high specification, all new for this bike. We've tuned the suspension to give complete control, obviously in all conditions, but slightly more comfort. Again, with the road focus, you wouldn't know that on the track. This bike is more agile, precise, and better handling in every way. But it's allowed us, the work we've done has allowed us to refine the suspension even further. So absolutely top end Öhlins suspension.
And brakes are even better than before, right?
Yeah, we've got Brembo Stylema calipers. We've still got the span and ratio adjustable lever, which I absolutely love because you can tune that feel just how you like it.
Yes.
Okay, so absolutely top end spec. That's the theme of the whole bike. We've put the specification that we know our customers want on this bike.
Tyres and wheels are new too, right? So
absolutely, all new. We've got Metzler Racetech RR tyres as standard, complete new wheels. As I said, every component on this bike is new, and it's all focused on more performance, lighter weight, but keeping all that character and attitude of the Speed Triple.
So the RS model is, as we see, and it's obviously it's high end. It's of a high specification. Did you have to fit it to a certain budget, as in a retail price?
Okay, well, obviously there's affordability for any bike, but we've been very focused on getting a good competitive price for the bike. £15,100 on the road in the UK. So I think you'll agree that's a pretty good price for all the spec and all the performance improvement that we've brought to Speed Triple.
Yeah. And the fact that you get Triumph build quality. We've seen it in models over the last few years. The impeccable attention to detail. So I think that in terms of, we've already talked about power to weight ratio, but in terms of components to GBP ratio, you've got a lot of quality on show.
And also, you're not having to add extra packages to achieve the performance. All the spec is there as standard.
So as a result, well, there presumably won't be an S and an R model as there have been in previous generations.
No, this is the Focus.
Yeah.
Absolutely, this is the Speed Triple, and this is the spec that our customers have told us they want, and this is where we are focusing.
Just finally then, can we hear it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why not? Let's do that.
Oh, I'm glad you said yes. I'll get into the firing line so I can smell it as well.
You may as well.
Okay. One more. Lovely. Thank you, Stuart. No, well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, can't wait to get out and get on it and hear it in real life. A couple of extra questions then on paint options, warranty, servicing, sort of cost of ownership.
Okay, 10,000 mile service interval now. So the work we're putting in isn't just about performance, it's about making this bike easy to own. Two colour options, both for that 15,100, so there's no extra cost, extra charge for that. Bikes will be available in the UK middle of March.
Right.
So
can't wait for that.
Won't be long.
No, good stuff. Thank you so much. Look, you can read every other bit of detail at bikesocial.co.uk. If you've been watching this as a video, please don't hesitate to comment or ask us any questions. Perhaps even Stuart will answer some if we've got some tricky ones that I can't answer. If you're listening to the podcast, then thanks so much for joining us as well. Don't forget, if you want to watch it, have a look at the video. Thanks again. See you next time.